Okay. Good fucking lord. Okay, so The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Uh, this is, I think it's the first book that had me at total opposites, like polar opposites, because I started reading this and I was well into, I don't know, 100 pages, and I didn't care for the book. It was very boring, it was very dull for me, very repetitive. I didn't understand what was the point of it, and I am not a person who likes like rapid paced or action in anything. I don't care for that. I usually enjoy stream of consciousness and very simplistic, slow paced dialogue and stuff. But this was just not doing it for me, and it was, I don't know, it was surprising as it went by, because it was like, what the fuck, dude, you know. But then something happened. The first part that it just started to pull me, it was spoiler alert, when her mom, okay, so the story is about a father and a son in this post-apocalyptic world where we don't know what really happened. We have no idea why the things are the way they are, but it is a world where nothing is functioning. They have to go and rummage around to look for food and shelter, and we don't know why, but that's the thing. And so at the beginning it was a lot of description, material, physical description that I didn't care for, and it's where I find usually very boring. I don't like descriptive language, like, it was gray and there was a tree and that type of thing. But when it really caught my attention and it was like, what, like, it just sucked me in, was when there is a flashback about what you could assume it was the boy's mother, the man's wife. She killed herself because she couldn't handle it, because it's fucking, I mean, with all this whole thing about the coronavirus and everything, and this taste of being kind of on the verge, it's just something weird to read, because you kind of puts you in perspective. And I think the main thing that I get from this is that do not take civilization for granted. It's a human construct that is very, very fragile, and it's amazing that it's something that we take for granted, because it's not, I mean, it's not natural. It's not a primal instinct thing, It's something that we have built on, and it took many years, and that's amazing. So the first time that it got me trapped, it was when there was this flashback of the description of the woman killing herself. And from then on, I understood the point, and I could appreciate more the language. I wish I read this in English. I will see, maybe I will read it in English later on in my life. I don't think I will do that now, but I could really start to appreciate everything, and it struck me hard because it's about humanity, and there are, like, it's a book about hope and trust in humanity, even though everything is falling apart, and there are certain good things that happen to them, but mostly it's just bad. And so at the end I teared up. I cried, because it's very sad that the dad has to die. And I think, again, I am going to repeat this, the most important thing is that I took from this book is, first of all, like, how fragile civilization is, and to put in perspective that, oh my god, that song, I hate it. how fragile civilization is. We shouldn't take it for granted, and it's important to make an effort of conserving your spirit, despite the horrific circumstances that you may be living in, and which is amazing. So that's interesting. And also it's a coming of age story about a dad and a son, and how the dad kind of loses his humanity at some point, and the son kind of tried or pulled him to do the right thing with this thief that they found in the road. And another thing that I kept thinking about was how important it is to have objectives. It's just something that apparently our brain really craves for, because they were going south because of the winter. And when everything is gray and there are no, like, there are no many things to look for, just this little tiny thing like finding food, finding shelter, going south, it's just what keeps you going. And it was very moving and very disturbing as well, because of the times that we're living. And I loved it. At the beginning I did not care for it. Like, it's just amazing how I didn't fucking care for it. It was so boring. It was like, what the fuck? And then it hit home, like it hit right into my humanity, and I really loved it. I put a 4 out of 5. I guess at the beginning, again, I'm going to repeat myself, the descriptive language about like what were they doing and very specific details and very simplistic, that was boring. But there is a certain point to it, I think, and especially when the description it's more poetic. It's simplistic, it's minimalistic still, but I think it deserves a 4 out of 5. And there is a movie, I'm not sure I'm going to watch it. Maybe, I don't know, who knows. But yeah, last thing I want to say is that I've been wanting to read Cormac McCarthy for a long time because of the movie No Country for Old Men. I didn't read the novel. I think I am going to now. I really want to find out if this is his style normally, or is something that he chose to do it on purpose, very specifically, very well thought, or it's just in general his style, which is an interesting question. But there you go, The Road.